Hello, you are watching Aajtak. I am Anjana Om Kashyap. The challenges before me build the tower of my courage. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, these are the two lines of your poem. You have set a target of 400 par as your tower of courage. I have three colleagues with me, Shweta Singh, Rahul Kamwal, Sudhir Chaudhary. The four of us will ask you questions.
I welcome you all. Greetings to the viewers of aajtak. I have had the opportunity to meet people from aajtak through the course of this election. There are several sayings for when four people gather. I cannot cite all of them today. I can quote the good ones.
While preparing for elections, a list of candidates is made, star candidates and manifestos are announced. However, you are setting the agenda for the first 100 days. My first question to you is, when you were elected in 2014, within 100 days you formed SIT on Orop and black money. In 2019, on the 62nd day, triple talaq was banned. In Kashmir, Article 370 was abrogated on the 66th day. If you come to power in 2024, what will you do in 100 days? What big decision will you take?
This is part of my work. I do things well in advance. When I used to work for the organization, I used to think a lot about what I have to do when. I divide my time properly. I prioritize well too. I am not a student of a management school, but maybe this quality has developed through my work experience. Usually the critics or observers, they look at the initial phase. When a daughter-in-law marries into a home, she is also observed in the first few days. The world functions in this fashion. So I thought I should address this and proceeded in that direction. Now, I will tell you a very interesting incident. On 26th January, there was an earthquake in Gujarat. It was a terrible earthquake. I used to do party work at the time. On 7th October, I became the CM. After taking the oath, I visited the quake-hit areas. I stayed there for 2 to 3 nights and saw everything. I had observed as a volunteer all along. Now I was seeing things as a CM. Then I came back and met with officers. Everyone told me that things will happen by March. I said keep the March calendar paper aside. Tell me, what will you do before 26th January? I said that the world will come to see on 26th January what has been done in a year. Prepone everything and tell me. The entire machinery was mobilized. On 24th January, I held a press conference in Delhi and I presented the report card before the nation. At the time, as anticipated, a lot of media had reached Gujarat. That to the media that wanted to skin us alive. However, the 1 year report had nothing but appreciation. This was possible because I got the March deadline preponed. My team felt motivated because their work got recognition. I understand the power of this recognition. This is why I say 100 days. Secondly, I have to run the government. It won't function on its own. I have been elected for this reason. I have to run some things in the country. I have to change some things. So what did I do? In 2014, I thought of a 100 days. I had a manifesto for 5 years. In 2019, I focused on the first 100 days again. In the last 7 years, I also focused on the global picture. In 2024, I have more foresight. I have been working for the last 5 years towards 2047. The work has been ongoing for 5 years. I have taken inputs from more than 20 lakh people in the nation. Based on this, I made a vision document for 2047. 2 generations must have retired working on this. Many new people have come. A month before the elections were announced, I held a summit with the council. We discussed the priority over the next 5 years for 2047. Then I made a 5-year map. Then I asked them what are priority and actionable items for the first 100 days. Then I listed out the priorities in order. On the basis of this, they are working. I will be meeting them soon. I will take out time and sit with them. So, I am ready. Now, a new idea has crossed my mind, which I am revealing for the first time. When I was thinking of 100 days, I also gave thought to the first 125 days. I am excited. In this entire campaign, whether a first-time voter or the youth, I can see a fire in them. I can feel their aspirations. I would like to announce that I will work on the first 125 days. I have already planned for the first 100 days. I want to add 25 days to this. I want to ask the youth for their ideas. I want to know their priorities. I want to dedicate 25 days entirely to the youth of this country. I will work on the first 125 days.
It is possible that the youth will share their ideas with you after watching this interview. You can tell the youth.
Now, this is the first time I have spoken to you.
You can tell the youth.
Okay, it will feel good.
Elections are not over yet. We are already discussing your next term. You are talking about 100 days and 125 days. It seems that this election is a status quo election. That means people are sure that you are going to come back. When the BJP tickets were being given, at that time people used to say that this is not a ticket, this is a certificate. Everywhere, the biggest asset of the BJP is your face and your work. Did you ever feel that this time, during the third term, the candidates may have also thought that they have to win in your name? You have done so well in your work that they do not need to work hard. Do you feel there is a lack of participation, or more than necessary, a surety for the candidates and workers?
Firstly, you are late in realizing that I am going to win and BJP will be forming the government. I got a call from Russian President Putin inviting me. I was also invited for the G7 meeting in September. The world surely believes that BJP will form the government. You are quite late. Better late than never. As far as the election is concerned, I told my party to not wait for the candidate. The candidate has been announced. And that is Lotus. Lotus is your candidate. For 1 year, I decided to work only for Lotus. I galvanized the party accordingly. We are all working for Lotus. I am also working for Lotus. My colleague is also working for Lotus. And our opponent is also working for Lotus. The lotus blooms more when muck is thrown at it.
Do you believe this is the most comfortable election for you?
One should never slip into their comfort zone. If it gets comfortable, I will prop up a challenge myself. There are more accidents on a straight highway. There are fewer accidents when the road curves. I want to keep my team awake. I want them functioning. I wouldn't accept a comfort zone.
People ask if everything is so easy, then why are you working so hard?
Hard work. I consider this an opportunity. To see the people, to understand how they feel, this is my power and gives me energy. Secondly, in democracy, we must not view elections from a lens of winning or losing. This is like an open university. You get an opportunity to take your thoughts to the people. When you take your thoughts to them directly, it escapes dilution and diversion. You can read the messaging perfectly. For example, I was more familiar with Kashi when I visited. But when I went to Kodama, after I saw the place, I changed the subject of my speech. Earlier, when I used to go there, I used to think differently. I thought I want to talk to people. I believe that it is the duty of all political parties to make full use of the elections, to educate the voters, to educate them with their ideology, to educate them with their working style, to educate them with their programs. Everyone should do this work. I would like them to do it even today. 15 से 20 days are left to educate their voters, but they are not doing it.
I would like to understand why you take up the responsibility. We have seen 2 Gujarat elections. This is the 3rd Lok Sabha election that I am covering. I have seen that you take up the responsibility and tell people to vote in the name of Modi. There is a fear of failure which you may never feel. You started with the slogan of 400 par. At that time, everyone came down on you heavily over such a target. The concern remains the same today.
You have families, you have children. If your child scores 90 marks, I am sure you tell them to score 95 the next time. Even if they score 99, you may push them to score a 100. From 2019 to 2024, we had 400 in the form of NDA and NDA plus. Similarly, it is my duty as a candidate to target 400 plus. This is my responsibility. NDA must move forward. I cannot claim that 90 is enough just because no one else scored that high. If we are at 90, we will surely target 95. We don't set targets according to what others are scoring. Secondly, as far as responsibility is concerned, it is the duty of the leadership. Today, it is the misfortune of the country that the blame is put on the innocent and politicians run away to save their skin. This is disappointing and sad for the country. Here you have a person who is ready to take responsibility. You have a leader who does not run away, who takes accountability for the things they say. Every political party must have leaders who take responsibility, not those who run away.
Prime Minister, when the 2014 elections happened, there was a lot of anger against Manmohan Singh, UPA and Congress. People wanted change. Before the 2019 elections, there was Pulwama and Balakot. There was a sense of nationalism in the country. People wanted to give you another chance. This time, people are saying that the voters are not as enthusiastic as they were in 2019. Voting percentages have decreased. Do you think that the voters are not as enthusiastic as they were in 2014 and 2019? How do you see this? How do you see?
The bread and butter for some people is dependent on this. What can they do to stay relevant? Otherwise, they will concede. They won't even get advertisements during elections. It will all be useless. I remember when I used to do party work in Gujarat. It was the election around 1995. Prior to that, the municipality election was held. The poll wasn't fought on the symbol back then. People would fight independently. BJP began fighting on the symbol. We inculcated this habit. Even the BJP candidates back then would fight independently without symbols. We fought on party symbol. However, independent candidates had a bigger wing. The journalists from Delhi would come with a file. Assembly elections were underway then. They would ask, you lost the assembly poll. How will you win this? I asked them if they have no work. Do some homework before coming here. At least study how the municipal elections are fought. Instead of linking votes to a political party or symbol, one should understand how important the vote is in a democracy. Non-attachment is not good for a democracy. Our narrative should strengthen India's democracy. However, we start looking for results. And this isn't a fact, it's pure logic. What is the use of wasting time behind it? I work at grassroots level. The complaint against me is that I do not make claims about winning or losing. This time too, I never made a claim. People were saying 400 par in the House. I don't make the claim myself. However, I do come to know about these things. I do prepare for the work I have to do in the first 100 days, in the next 5 years, till 2047. I will do this work. I am aware this is my responsibility to fulfill.
Your confidence is often connected with many other things. Questions are raised on institutions. Opposition puts a very serious allegation on you that institutions are being influenced, including the Election Commission. People trust the Election Commission. I would like you to respond to this allegation. Opposition claims that it took 11 days to release voting figures when phase 1 of polling happened. They ask why the numbers are being hidden. How do you respond to this allegation?
This is a very good question. I would like to ask Aajtak and India Today too both. The Election Commission wrote a letter. Let the experts have a debate on this, not politicians. Experts who understand this subject. Let them hold a debate on whether it was right or wrong. It won't be appropriate for me to comment on this. Secondly, the institution of Election Commission was constituted of a single member for nearly 50 to 60 years. The people who came out of the Election Commission, some became governors, some became MPs, some fought the Lok Sabha election against A.L.K. Advani. This is an example of the kind of people who were given power to sit in EC. The Election Commission officers from that time who have since retired still promote that political ideology in their tweets, express opinions and write articles. This signifies that the Election Commission has finally become independent today. I would like to request Aajtak to do an analysis on the journey of Election Commission. Secondly, we have various subjects when it comes to India's branding. When I tell the world that there are 900 TV channels in India, it is not relevant how those channels talk about me. I tell the world this is my country. There are 900 TV channels. This surprises them. I tell them how many languages the channels are available. How the channels cover me is a different subject. Having so many channels in the country is India's strength. India's Election Commission, India's election process is a wonder for the world. It is everyone's duty to ensure branding for our country. I would like you to invite media houses from across the world during elections. Take those helicopters for them.
You've given a great idea for next time.
This will make you global. For instance, people from several political parties across the world came to India. Some people come as observers. Honestly, India's festival of democracy and the democracy of the common citizen of India and the scale of management which requires lakhs of people and timelines, this is extraordinary work. This is a study for universities. Mr. Arun Puri has gone to study. Tell him that the universities abroad should do a case study on India's election process. This is a big achievement for India. We should be proud of this.
So have you seen Aajtak's helicopter shot?
I did not get time. But I was worried if good helicopters would be found. If you would get to land or not. And if there is a VIP movement, you will face a hurdle in flying. There will be weather problems. It is not easy.
We were talking about the narrative. Whenever you fight elections, whether in Gujarat or here, every time people say that you are losing, then you win more seats. Ever since you told people about the Uniform Civil Code and made this promise, now there is another narrative on it. Now people say that it will be one nation, one dress, one nation, one food, one nation, one language. Next comes one nation, one leader, that we are moving towards it.
Have you ever had a chance to counter those who say this? Do it a few times. Ask them where they got this narrative from. Ask them if they have read UCC. What is UCC? This is your responsibility instead of asking me and telling the nation. You also have to do some homework. But at least this country has an example. There is UCC in Goa. Tell me, do people of Goa wear the same type of clothes? Do people of Goa eat the same type of food? They've made it a joke. Uniform Civil Code has nothing to do with it. The Supreme Court of India has said at least 24 times to bring UCC in this country. I remember when I went for the Ekta Yatra. I was going from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. In Maharashtra, I went to Aurangabad. We went to a chili market in the evening. Dr. Joshi was allergic to chili. He suddenly fell ill. He was in a very bad condition. We didn't know whether to hold our program that evening or not. I had to take care of the protest. I was a junior. I was talking to a school kid. I told them to stop the chariot. I asked the kids to tell me that there are 5 people in your family. For your elder brother, your parents have one rule. For the second brother, they have another rule. They give the third one another set of rules. Will your family do it? The kids said no. I said this is what the country wants. I asked them thus questions. Those kids told me that Uniform Civil Code should be brought in. They were studying in 8th grade. The kids of my country, Maharashtra tier 2, tier 3 cities understand this, but the politicians don't understand it. Then the question arises in my mind. These false narratives are not run by humans. Forgive me. Some media houses and their irresponsible behavior which strengthens fake narratives like this. What is the power of a person? Who will ask? This is for the country. This is not about any political party. It is written in the constitution of the country that India should go in that direction. Did our people at that time say that everyone will have to wear a rose? This is why UCC was brought to the Constituent Assembly.
There is a new narrative that the constitution will be changed. This narrative has picked up.
I don't believe this has picked up. But such a lie can run in this country. The question that should be asked, who was the first to play with the constitution? Pandit Nehru did. The first amendment he brought to the constitution was to restrict freedom of speech. He was against democracy and constitution. Secondly, what did his daughter do? She was the prime minister. The court gave a judgment that you cannot stay in the parliament. She overturned the court's judgment. There were protests in the country. So she declared an emergency and shut all the newspapers. There was a benefit of the emergency to Arun Puri. India today was born. Whatever the benefit was, that is the question of his livelihood. At the same time, India today was born. After that, her sons came. The Shah Bano judgment came. He overturned the Supreme Court's judgment. He changed the constitution. Then he brought a law. The law imposed restrictions on the media. The opposition was strong, the media was also growing strong. They said they will not allow the declaration of another emergency. This scared him, and he had to withdraw. Then his son came. The government was run by a remote control. They had a PM of their choice. The government is formed according to the constitution. It does not matter whether I like it or not. A cabinet was formed according to the constitution. The cabinet made a decision, and a prince calls a press conference and demolishes the decision of the cabinet, and the cabinet reverses its decision. This means that four people of the same family at different times have blown up the constitution. The time has passed for such people to do such things for the constitution. And that is why today I say to people that until Modi is alive, the basic principles of the constitution, that there will be no reservation on the basis of religion. I will fight for it. I will sacrifice my life for it. Reservation on the basis of religion. On the basis of religion, you have divided the country once. Now, on the basis of religion, will you do this? Are you doing this just to attain a post? The country will not accept this. And I will educate the country. I will sacrifice my life for this.
Modi ji, during this election and even before that, the opposition parties claim that democracy is in danger in India. They say that democratic institutions have become weaker than before, to the extent that they accuse you of being a dictator. How do you see this? They say that people are very scared of you. They claim that the Supreme Court is getting weak. There are no longer debates in the legislature like there used to be. Bills are passed quickly without going to as many committees. They feel democracy is backsliding. How do you see this?
Firstly, in the parliament, we are repeatedly asking them to attend and hold debates. But they think that we have nothing to say. There are no people to say anything. All their new MPs that have come, they come and tell me that we have been ruined for 5 years. We could not say a word in the House. I am talking about the opposition. I once told their leaders that you should give an hour to your young and first-time MPs, then disturb the House. Disturb later. I have told them all this in my life. I am trying to help these people do something. But unfortunately, for the Congress family, democracy means being in power. They are still not ready to accept this. A different government has been elected for the country. There is another prime minister that the country has chosen. They are not able to accept it in their hearts. They don't like it even if their own manifesto issues are brought up. If you are implementing what they have said today, they should be happy. I used to say that you are doing it. It is the good thing. We did not get a chance. Pranab Mukherjee said in his book that the work he did with me, it was done in such a democratic way. And we have increased the prestige of the Constitution. Supreme Court tell me people say that the Supreme Court does not work because of the government. We are being questioned over ability. This means that earlier there were some people who managed the judiciary. And that institution was good. I agree. Why should I manage it? The law will do its job.
Regarding the probe agencies, the opposition claims the ED, CBI, income tax are aggressive when it comes to opposition leaders. Some even go to jail. But the agencies are softer towards leaders who join the NDA.
Please do not divert from the issue. This is a method. For example, when I say Dynastic party, media asks me about Rajnath Singh's son, who is also in politics. There is a difference between the two. The media should not help divert the issues in this way. This will be my request. When I say Dynastic party, it means a party of the family, by the family, for the family. If 10 people from a family come into public life, I do not think it is bad. If 4 people get ahead, I do not think it is bad. But they do not run a party. The party makes decisions. Similarly, the step taken by Ed, you tell me, 20 years ago, what was the news? Search was carried out on the black market. Raid was conducted. So many things were caught. So much sugar was caught. Now, does such news come up? No. Why? Because at that time, whatever work that institute did, whatever law was there changed, taxation changed, so did the world of the black market in the public life of India. We do not get to hear of black markets in cinema today. Similarly, such news disappeared. Corruption can also go. Why? If the person who has the responsibility does their work, if in 10 years it is asked that it has been paid so much, what work did they do? From 2004 to 2014, why did they not do the work? It is their duty. Tell me there is a railway ticket checker. If he does not check the ticket, what is the need to keep him? If you are in the media or you are a bhakt with a Modi flag, who will keep you? They will chuck you out. It is your job to investigate and you do your job. Similarly, it is its job to understand what the numbers indicate. From 2004 to 2014, the law was the same. I have not made the ed, they did not do any work at all. Only 34 lakh rupees were seized. We were in the opposition. Who stopped us? My government has seized 2,200 crore rupees. The TV channels have shown this cash. How can you defame the ed? Cash has been found from an MP's house. Tell me there are many drugs. If I catch a big drug scam, will you praise me or not? If the ed catches it, then they are criticized. Why? Because it was caught from a Neta's house.
But you want to be equal for everyone?
Irrespective of any background, this should happen. My fight is against corruption. There should be no corruption in the country. This is destroying the country. It is destroying the country.
Mr. Modi, we see some parties in Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. You fight very fiercely in the elections. BJD, YSRCP, Congress, all will fight against the BJP. But when you need these leaders in parliament, they stand with you. What is the relationship between BJP and these parties? Won't the voter be confused?
I always say that the elections should be held for 3 to 4 months only. There should be no politics for 5 years. We should sit together for 4.5 years and come and make the country proud. The elections are for 6 months. Fight with full strength. But you must have seen that there are friendly matches. Earlier there was a test match. Before that there was a friendly match for 3 days. It lasted for 14 days. In the game, the word sportsman spirit was born. In politics also, we should stand together for 4.5 years on the basis of issues.
So you are committing one nation, one election in the third term?
One nation, one election has been my party's motto from the beginning. And this is not a dream. You see what is happening. I am surprised should I speak over this or not. But I feel a lot of pride when there is a state election and the Prime Minister goes to that state and speaks against any party or party leader. How will the country run? Now I am forced to go to that state and speak. There is political compulsion. It will be good if there are elections at the same time. So whoever wants to speak, everyone will get to speak. Whoever wants to come out will come out and speak. Then how much will be the logistic expense? When I was in Gujarat, this was with the government of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. During his time, the Election Commission used to take the most number of officers from Gujarat as observers. 70 to 80 of my officers used to go. And in a year, almost 100 days, someone used to be in some election. I used to say that my state is so active that if 80 people go, how will I manage? Stop this. I will not give the observers. but the laws were such that I had to give. This will be a problem for every state. So many observers go. Then they get a vacation period. Everyone relaxes. For 6 to 7 months, how can such a big country stop? How can it stop? This is a problem for a big country like ours. Earlier, there was no one nation, one election in our country. This came after 1967. So now the commission is sitting. Commission reports have come. They are studying the report. After studying, there will be actionable points. We have a commitment. It is not a political commitment. It is very important for the country.
Employment versus beneficiaries. This is also a debate in the country. The Congress's manifesto promises that they will give 30 lakh jobs, that they will give 1 lakh jobs to educated youth. Your focus is on benefits. Now they are saying that we are dealing with unemployment in an aggressive manner. This is the claim of Congress.
If they are so honest in states where their governments are, why are they silent? Why don't they speak there? Second, if the government is responsible for employment, then as it is the government of India, it is the government of the state, it is the responsibility of the local government. So, there will be very little responsibility coming my way. Still, if you talk about fulfilling the promise, recently the employment records have come. The microfinance in 10 years has generated employment. Will you not consider it as employment? There are 10 to 12 schemes of the center on the basis of which they did the analysis that if a house is built, then how many person-hours of employment will be obtained. Earlier, they used to say man-hours. Now, the world is gender neutral, so they say person-hours. So, it is said that 5 crore people, that means their jobs have been generated. Now, the number is very big. Earlier, if a road was built for 100 kilometers, today, if it is built for 200 kilometers, then will there be manpower? Or will there be person power? Earlier, the electrification used to be this much. Today, it is this much. Earlier, there were so many airports. Today, so many airports have been built. 4 crore houses have been built. 11 crore toilets have been built. 5G has been rolled out at the highest speed in the world. Infrastructure is required for this. Small things are required for it. The number of PFs show the truth. In 6 to 7 years, you are getting 6 crore new jobs on record. EPFO among the people covered in 10 years has seen a rise of 167%, 165 or 170%. Will this be taken into consideration or not? Mudra loan, approximately 43 crore loans, some people were repeated. 70% of them are generating employment. Now, one person must be giving employment to one person. One person must be running a business. All this is not so easy. The problem in our country is that the recruitment process is so difficult. An advertisement will come out, the department will ask for it, the finance department will ask for it. It takes a year for people to know of the opportunity. I have reduced it so much that today, in 2 to 3 months, it is final. If you want to hire a person, complete the process in 2 to 3 months. But employment is such a subject you can say anything. There are some people like you work here. But do you have it in your mind that I should be a chief editor? According to that, he is unemployed. Because he is not a chief editor. This is also a big problem.
Pradhan Mantriji, recently there was a report by international economist Thomas Piketty where he said that income inequality is on the rise in India. This means that the rich are getting richer and the poor are becoming poorer. that the economic growth of India is K-shaped. People on top are getting richer while people in the bottom are becoming poorer. How do you see this issue of income inequality?
So should everyone be poor? Everyone should be poor. There is this one solution, and there will be no difference. It was like this in the country earlier. Now you say that everyone should be rich. So will it happen slowly, or will everyone become rich suddenly? Some will get rich and they will make a few poor people rich. There is a process. And that is why either we decide that we all want to be poor. We don't need anything. Let everyone get 10 rupees and you will have to survive on that. This is one way. The other way is that we all try to move forward. Today 10 will go ahead. Tomorrow 100 will go ahead. Later 500 will go ahead. It is happening now. Earlier there were a few hundred startups in our country. Now there are 1.25 lakh startups. Progress is happening. Earlier there were a handful of people traveling in an aircraft. Now 1,000 new aircraft were ordered. Today in India, there are 600 to 700 government and private aircraft. Now there are 1,000 new aircraft. This means that there is prosperity. Today people are going to Badrinath, Kedarnath. Where do they get the money from? They are spending because they have money. The number of such people has now jumped to crores. People are going abroad for marriage. If there were only 5 rich people, then how would so many people get married abroad? I am pushing forward in India. When prosperity is coming, people think that they will go abroad. They have not seen Chennai but want to visit Singapore. We should look at the situation in the correct way.
Because of you, many people are getting married in India. They think Modi ji will get the report about their marriage abroad.
This media version is natural. But the reality is that many people are writing to me, sir, I made a booking. I spent some money, but I never thought that it could mean this. And I've decided that I'll marry in India.
Many small places are really very good. Everybody is going to these places after your idea.
Kashmir is now hosting destination weddings.
I am telling you, the income of Badrinath, Kedarnath has increased significantly. Earlier it was religious tourism. There was infrastructure. Now they have increased the facilities for weddings. So they are getting wedding work in off-season.
Rahul was talking about wealth and poverty.
Who Rahul? That Rahul is not yours.
Today, sir is in form.
Sir is in full form. But I will also talk about the other Rahul. Sir, your image is like the messiah of the poor. We saw how women cry when you meet them, how poor women associate with you. All your schemes, now 25 crore people are out of poverty. But the other Rahul is accusing you of being friends with big businessmen. For the past 5 years, they are trying to portray an image that you are friends with Adani, Ambani, and it is like black and white.
The problem with this family is that it is under a lot of pressure. Nehru used to get abused. It was called Birla Tata government. People called them Birla Tata government. Nehru used to listen to all these things. Now the problem with this family is that they believe Modi should be abused like his grandfather was abused. Why did they rake up Rafale? The issue was not with Rafale. They thought that if they raised Rafale, they would wash away the sin of buffers. It is a psychological problem. They never worked so hard in elections like they are doing now. Why are they doing it? They think that if Modi is elected for the 3rd time, then my father's and grandmother's respect will be lost. He will be equal to Nehru. They compare me with him. And that is why they have borrowed these abuses. Secondly, I spoke at the Red Fort. I am not ashamed. I spoke from the Red Fort that the wealth creators in this country should be respected. The prestige of capable people in my country should increase. I include the players and achievers in the guest list for 15th August. If the country does not worship and value the achievers, then how will people doing PhD emerge in our country? Where will the scientists come from? Achievers should be respected in every area of life. If aajtak becomes a global channel tomorrow, I will be the first to clap. Aajtak may be doing injustice to me, but I will clap for them. Because aajtak, which is from my country, has become global. I get sad by looking at CNN. BBC, no Indian channel has gone global even after 75 years of independence. Al Jazeera came overnight and became a global channel. Now someone will say that you are helping the rich. I am not helping the rich. I am proud of my country. Why shouldn't there be multinational companies in my country? Why shouldn't there be Indian shops across the world? Why shouldn't the people from abroad come to India for employment? Why are you shy? If I have cheated, hand me to death. If they have given it in the wrong way, then hang me. But I will respect the wealth creators in my country for the bright future of my country. I have the same venerable feeling for the sweat of laborers and the wealth of the rich people. For me, the money of rich people, the mind of the people who manage, the sweat of the laborers, I see all three as a family, and this leads to development.
I remember one thing from your rally, because when the ED keeps collecting such mountains of cash, I did a show on this issue, that the money that the ED collects, where does that money go? And I was very sad to know that as long as the matter will go on, it will be and stay as it is. You said that the money that will be taken from corrupt people will be given back to the common people. How is this possible?
You have asked a very important thing. And I believe it will be good if people get to know these things through aajtak. There are two kinds of corruption. One is done by big businesses, where the borrower does not say anything. But many of them are innocent people here. For example, in Bengal, in the case of teacher recruitment, the money trail was there. So we know that this man got a job, he has no certificate. And he borrowed money to get this job, or he mortgaged his land, or he mortgaged his house and gave this money. So there is a trail. So far we have collected a lot of money. We have collected a total of 1.25 lakh crores. This is a very big amount. 1.25 lakh crores. For example, in Kerala, the Communist Party runs a racket and they roam around like honest people, run a cooperative network. Mostly poor people deposit money in cooperative banks. A man keeps the money in a fixed deposit thinking when his daughter grows up, it will be useful for marriage. The son will grow up, they will renovate their house. What they have done is, in the name of their business partnership, they did a scam worth thousands of crores of rupees in the cooperative banks. For example, you are scared of the Kerala files, but you can work on this as well. Now there is a trail in it. The money was kept by him, and it was lost by him. Now we have seized some properties. Now I am planning to return that money somehow by auctioning the property. So far, I have returned 17,000 crore rupees. 17,000 rupees crore. The trail of which was found. Lalu Yadav, who was the railways minister, instead of giving jobs to the poor, he got the land transferred to his name. So the trail was found. However, the person is not ready to give an affidavit because he is afraid. But the trail was found. On this date, he lost his land and he got a job on this date. Now we have collected the property. We are thinking of auctioning it and returning the land to the poor. So I am thinking a lot about this issue. because I feel this from the heart that this is the money of the poor. These people have looted them by misusing power. They should get it back. If legal changes have to be made, I will do it. I am taking the help of the legal team. I have asked the judiciary to tell me a way. What's the use of this money? We have tried to address this issue in the new criminal law. This is the story behind this law. In Bhavnagar, when I was the chief minister, black jaggery was caught in large quantities. Black jaggery is useful for making illegal alcohol. We had kept it at the police station. It rained heavily that day. So mosquitoes and flies began to surface and people couldn't pass through that road. Now the law says that we cannot dispose of it. Since then, I made up my mind that a law should be brought.
Even cars keep lying at the police station.
The new criminal law has addressed this issue.
Sir, your 10-year track record speaks about labharatis. You just said that if someone has given land in bribery, then we will work to get it back. Your schemes focus on labharatis. When they get the benefit, nobody asks if they are Hindu or Muslim. So there is a secular administration in the country. But if this is the case, then in the election rallies, Mangal Sutra, infiltrators, more kids, what is the need for these words? The opposition keeps targeting you on this issue. The opposition says that you do Hindu-Muslim politics during elections.
This is a very good question. I want to tell the audience what happens. You completely followed the agenda of communalism, and I exposed it. Their ecosystem hides this fact, and you also live under the pressure of that ecosystem. Then you also show my statement and think I do Muslim every day. This is not the point. The point is that they have written in their manifesto that now they will bring the minority into the contract system. The contract will be given to the minority. If I oppose that contract, if I oppose this process, I am secular. But because I have to say Muslim word to call this out, then you take out the meaning that I am attacking Muslims. But I am not attacking them. I am attacking those political parties who are mocking secularism in India. They are doing the politics of appeasement. They are destroying the constitution, and I have proof that I don't do it. How? I say I speak about 100% saturation. Suppose there are 700 people living in a village and 100 people can be beneficiaries of a certain scheme. I think all of them should get benefited by the scheme. I don't see their religion. There is a possibility that some may get it on Monday, some may get it on Wednesday, some get it in January, some may get it in July. But every eligible person should get it. So there should not be discrimination in governance. There should be secularism. Now look at the whole debate. We have not done Hindu-Muslim anywhere. We are trying to explain their manifesto. We do not hesitate. I am explaining it to Muslims that they are fooling you. They have been fooling the country for 75 years. Why are you getting fooled? And I tell intelligent Muslims to understand what you got from them. They took the country on the basis of religion. Will the country run from madrasas? Don't they need an administrator? Don't they need a doctor? Don't they need an engineer? If you are a doctor, you will have to pick up a stethoscope. If you are an engineer, you will have to pick up pen and paper. I am saying the same to Muslims.
Are they listening to you and voting for the BJP?
First of all, the habit of doing something for a vote should end. Will you do everything just for votes? Won't you do anything for the country? Will you do it just to get power? I am strongly against it. I will do everything for the country. Vote is a byproduct. You can't drown the country for votes. And I don't want the power if it destroys my country. I don't want such government.
You said you will never do Hindu-Muslim.
I never did Hindu-Muslim, nor I will do it in the future. But if I say triple talaq is wrong and you label me anti-Muslim, then the problem is with you, not me.
There was an attempt to label you in Kashmir when Article 370 was abrogated. I have covered Kashmir before and after 2014, and not only the city but borders as well. People felt they were becoming inclusive. Then 370 was abrogated. After this, there was no stone pelting or violence in Kashmir. There was a great voter turnout in Srinagar this time, but they say their statehood was snatched away from them. Would you like to say anything to the people of Jammu and Kashmir?
First of all, in this election, if you had asked me this question, I would have liked to hear it. But you didn't ask me. But you brought this topic up, so I will ask a question and answer it as well. What was the most satisfying moment for me during this election? For me, the moment of satisfaction was voter turnout in Srinagar, because it proved that my policies were right. I do not discriminate. My government does not discriminate on the basis of religion. As far as statehood is concerned, we have promised it in the parliament and we are committed to it. Yes, we want to be successful in the sense, not in political power, but in the situation. Earlier, we used to get abused that we shut down the internet. We used to hold meetings where people said you shut down internet. What kind of a democracy is this? We were abused. But I did it for Kashmir's good. I could see the future. You used to get a vision about the channel for 24 hours. I used to get a vision of the country. And even after getting abused for shutting down internet, I was successful in saving the youth from choosing the wrong path. Secondly, consider the time of 10 years. From 2004 to 2014, how many mothers lost their children? And then from 2014 to 2024, how many children survived? What can be more satisfying than this in life? And that is why the statehood is also our commitment. We will do whatever it takes for success. I would like to grow wheat, but I can only achieve that if I don't do it in the right season, otherwise I will lose my seats.
My father was in the army. We used to visit Kashmir during every summer and winter vacation. This time, when I went there to cover the elections, people were campaigning in Baramulla, Anantnag, where once people used to look out of windows when army cars used to pass by to see if bullets were not being fired. Now the politicians were campaigning openly. Lal Chowk was open to the public. The shops were open till 9-10 p.m. What's next for Kashmir after this?
Firstly, the media should accept it. When I am sitting here, I am saying it to you specifically. I am talking to your entire fraternity. A few days ago, I attended an event in Jammu and Kashmir. After 40 years, such a big rally took place. What were the comments? People from the government were sitting here. Do you want the betterment of your country or not? They will be tight-lipped when they see 40% voter turnout. Elections should be like a festival. It shouldn't be taken for granted. It should be a festival. I saw that it was like a festival in Srinagar. People were making tea. People were clapping. People were singing. They were celebrating. It was a very happy day for me.
You always say that you are very close to the Sikh community. There is a picture here of the Gold Temple as well. But it is also true that your popularity in Punjab is a less as compared to rest of the country. Some people from the Sikh community watch you with suspicious eyes. You recently went to Gurudwara in Kanpur and Patna. Do you feel that this perceived gap can be reduced by your efforts, your intentions? Will you succeed in reducing that gap?
I don't know what information you have. If you look at the elections, I don't have any answer. I have gone beyond that. It would be better if you had a Punjabi channel or people from Punjab and let them analyze the issues of the Sikh community in this country and which government has addressed those issues, and then take out the list. You will give me 100 out of 100 marks. It is possible that I could not reach out to them. I have worked in Punjab for many years, and during the emergency, I had adopted the attire of a Sikh person. I used to go to langars during my time in Delhi earlier, not because I got a free meal. I used to go with devotion. I still believe that the Sikh community has contributed a lot to the country. Wherever there are today, it is unfortunate that drug issues have spiked in Punjab. Otherwise, it is a disciplined community. We should be proud of this community, whether they accept me or not. What can I say about that?
I want to come on the topic of women because many things have been done. During the 26th January parade, it was said that it was just for namesake, that a female officer would stand with you during flag hoisting. But gradually we saw that a women's contingent was marching. They have been deployed at the LOC. In your cabinet, women are holding very important positions. But the reality is that the 33% women reservation, which will be in effect after a few days, is being done in a male-dominated political system. How do you see this change? Will women come out in large numbers?
You must have seen my work in GBs. Even the people of the West who are very forward, in front of them, this is a very big comparison. When I say that I have a 26-week holiday for pregnant women, they look at me like this. You said 26? Yes, I said 26. They can't digest this fact. We have a perception that in India, women are householders. This is not the reality. Look at the agricultural sector of India. Even today, I say that in the agricultural sector, 60% contribution is of women. Women do economic activities. But the real image of our country is not known by the world. Even today, among commercial pilots in the world, 15% are women from India. Now, this didn't happen overnight. Hence, by saying such things about Indian women, we have become a victim of a certain ideology. But I believe that we should be 2 steps ahead. How? First, we need to break the psychological barrier. The President of Egypt was sitting with me on 26th January. He said that Western countries talk about women's empowerment, but I am seeing it here. The President of Egypt told me this. He belongs to a Muslim country. He was showing me women's empowerment. Secondly, I brought up this topic in GB's Women-Led Development. This is a very big psychological change. I don't know if you have seen this, but women are managing the stage in all the public rallies of my party. You guys might not have marked. This is all a part of the plan. This is not impromptu. Otherwise, what was their work earlier? Bring a dish with a bouquet. Then a man will come and give the bouquet to a person. This is a big change. I don't like it at all. Today, women party workers organize my rallies. This is my decision. This is my party's decision. I am going in the direction of women-led development. Secondly, the women of the village. What is a self-help group? Make papad. Make wadi, sell it, make soap or make agarbatti. I want to break that. I made them a drone pilot. I talked to the woman. She said I didn't even ride a cycle. But today the whole village knows me as a drone pilot. I was in Gujarat. I decided that so what if there is a government? If the police come, then only the government comes into the picture. This is the impression, and I want to change this psychology. So I directed to give uniforms to the women in Anganwadi and Asha workers. Not because I wanted a vote. I called the fashion designer and told them to give me clothes better than an air hostess for Anganwadi workers. And I did it. And then what did I do? Whenever a chief minister or any minister visits the village, the queue that receives them should have Anganwadi and Asha workers. Everyone used to feel pride. The impression changed in such a way that if an Anganwadi or Asha worker is standing, that means the government is standing. This is my commitment. You see the dairy work here. I decided this when I was in Gujarat. The money from the milk won't go to men, it will be deposited in the account of women. And daily 2000 rupees crore was deposited in women's accounts. I started a dairy in Kashi. I said the dairy will start when the money will go to the women's account. They take care of the animal. They worry about milk. They give us the milk and some other person will take the money. This won't work. When I built houses after the earthquake in Gujarat, the houses built by the government were given in the name of women. And after coming to power here, I built 4 crore houses in the name of women. Then I made a rule, when a child is admitted to the school, he will write his father's name. I said no to this. His mother's name will also be written. These changes have been made. Today, the name of the mother is also in the books with the father. So your thought process works. Then small things come to your mind. And this power has to be brought from below. When the power comes from below, then you get the result. I did one thing, it was very interesting. You will not be able to show this in the media. When I was made the Chief Minister of Gujarat, there were panchayat elections. About 1500 panchayats went to polls. I did not have much time because I was working due to the earthquake. Then one day I got a message that all the members of the panchayat of a village in the Koda district wanted to meet. I said let them meet the panchayat minister. He said that all the members were women. He said the people of the village decided that as the sarpanch who got elected was a woman, so the members will also be women. He said that there's no male member in panchayat. So they wanted to meet me. So I got interested and called them. There is a small village near Dakur. They came there to meet me. There were 11 members. The Pradhan studied till class 8th. There was no other educated person. So I asked her what she wanted me to do. She said that all the women came to greet you. There was no other work. I said, you've got 5 years now. What will you do? What is your wish? What the Pradhan told me, no economist in the world can tell me this. The chief told me that our village is small, but my wish is that in 5 years in my village there should not be a single poor person. This Pradhan knew economics. There should not be a single poor person in my village. I want to do something like this. I got an idea from that. When the elections came, I said we should focus on a prosperous village. I was familiar with this because Vinoba Bhave had a colleague, Dr. Dwarkdar Joshi. He was from my village. His wife Ratan was a good person. I heard her speech when I was a child. I don't remember if I heard Vinoba Bhave or Dwarkdar Joshi. I don't remember much. But when I was a child, I realized that people are not differentiated during Lok Sabha elections. It doesn't happen during assembly elections as well. When there are elections in the village, it gets divided into two parts. They send the daughters also from her in-laws because she didn't vote. There should be an election by consensus in the village. I heard this when I was a child. Then my brain started working. I made a scheme. Whichever village conducts polls with full consensus, I will give 5 lakh rupees extra to that village for development. Because of them, my printing and all other expenses were saved. Then I stated whichever village which will have all the women members, I will give 7 lakhs extra to them. Then I said that whichever village that has all women members will have a woman government officer, possibly a woman police officer as well. And I will also give them money. And I will appoint women from top to bottom. Elections in 45% villages were held with consensus. 45% villages. And even today we give them extra money. There are many villages where there are all women members in panchayat. And I am telling you that they perform so well. Such small things have to be done. I remember the day Obama came. All the women were standing in the honor of the U.S. President. During the parade, the contingent was led by a woman. So Obama said, "They are all women." I said, "Yes. I know how to make my country proud." Even here, 50% are men and 50% are women. No, what I mean to say is that we should not look at it from a personal perspective, what I actually call developed India. So I see developed India into basic principles. An Eastern India where there is a lot of wealth, where poverty is high, Eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Karnataka, Bengal, Odisha, if I consider it economically, I have taken it equal to the West. West means Gujarat, Maharashtra. Goa, Punjab, there is complete wealth. So my nature and secondly the strength of my women, these are two areas in which I see full potential. And that is my 2047, my biggest success. I am absolutely convinced that this will give me results, and I will get results.
My next question related to this is also to you, sir, because earlier it was believed that in the House, whatever the man says, the women will also follow the same. But today, women are voting with their mind. I traveled in helicopter on 100 seats and reached Basirhat, where you gave a BJP ticket to Rekha Patra, Banka, Bahraich, Baramati, Garhwal. You have triggered fights in many houses. Because the husband is voting somewhere else, the woman is voting somewhere else. We think women are your silent voters. But is it really because of this that freebies are also being announced a lot for women? All the political parties give freebies to attract women voters, as whoever gets their vote will form the government. How do you see this?
Well, this is not a matter related to women. The issue is, should political parties empty the treasury to win elections? This is the main issue. Do I have the right to loosely spend the treasure? I have the right to make plans for empowerment. But if there is an election, then I should spoil it. How appropriate is this method? This is a matter to think about, and we have examples of the countries in the world where this situation has happened. Now let's see what happens. You build a metro in a city, and to win the elections in the same city, they say that we will take women in the bus for free. Meaning you have taken 50% of the passengers of your metro. So metro will not be viable now whether metro will be built in future or not. The concern is this. Understand that no one discusses any concerns in this forum. Now we go into political discussions. I don't want to do that. I want to speak in a concrete manner. What happened because of this? You created a problem for the traffic, problem for the environment by making bus rides free, and here you emptied the metro. Now how will that metro move forward? How will the country move forward?
If we step out of the country's politics for a minute and talk about the global order, then at this time the eyes of the world are on India and India's elections. At present, the war between Russia and Ukraine is going on. It is not showing any sign of ending. There is a war going on between Israel and Hamas. Tension with Iran is increasing. In the last 5 years, the comprehensive national power of India has increased. It jumped from 11th largest economy to 5th largest. What do you see India's role on the global high table in the next 5 years?
Why do we see things in this way? What is the main issue? What did we think so far? Our narrative was that we are so far from this thing. We are so far from that. We maintain an equal distance. This used to be our diplomatic language. I said nothing to do. In my language, we are so close. So the competition started in the world. How do we get close to them? Earlier, there used to be a competition to stay away. Now it has changed. Everyone has been competing to get close to us. Yesterday, we signed an agreement with Iran. It is the headline of Indian newspapers. Yesterday, my minister was in Iran. I signed a final agreement in connection with Chabhar port. It is a big deal. It is related to Central Asia and it is a big deal for my economy. But I don't know what happened here. Between all the fights, my Chabhar agreement was signed. Second, we will not take our decisions based on some third person. We will take our own decision. What if someone feels bad? What if I talk to him? No, I will talk with everyone. If President Putin praises me, it does not mean that I cannot tell him that this is not the time for war. He will respect me. At least he is a friend who tells me clearly that this is right or wrong. Ukraine also trusts India at this level. We have done only the right thing. In Gaza, during the month of Ramzan, I sent my special envoy to Israel. He met the Prime Minister of Israel and told him to explain that we should not bombard Gaza in the month of Ramzan. He tried to follow. They fought for 2 to 3 days in Ramzan. But I sent a special envoy. Here you are accusing me of playing politics against Muslims. But Modi attempted to stop bombardment in Gaza. I don't want publicity for this. Many people must have tried. India also tried. Even today, I am also close to Palestine as I am to Israel. What was the fashion here earlier? Go to Israel, go to Palestine, do secularism and come back. But nothing to do. I will go to Israel and come back. I don't need to pretend. I went to Israel. If I go to Palestine, I will have a standalone visit. When I went to Palestine, I was informed that helicopters would take me there. The president of Jordan knew that I was going to Palestine. He is the direct heir of Muhammad Sahib. He is the direct heir of Muhammad Sahib. He said, Mr. Modi, you can't go there like this. You are my guest. You will go in my helicopter. You will eat at my house. I went to his house. We ate and talked. Jordan's helicopter, destination Palestine, and Israeli jets were escorting me. The world is different for all three. But for Modi, everyone is together in the sky. I believe that all this happens when your intentions are good, when they trust you, and I have no hidden agenda. I tell the Americans, I don't ask them. If my country needs cheap oil from Russia, I will take it. It is important for me. I will do it. I don't hide it. I run the country on my terms.
Sir, you are the most popular leader in India. You are the most popular leader in the world as well. And staying on top, as the English saying goes, it is always very lonely at the top. And staying on top has its own pressure. Do you ever feel that pressure? During your Pariksha Pe Charcha sessions, you tell the children how to keep stress away. Do you ever feel this pressure?
The problem with you guys is that you live and grow up in a world and you give examples from that world. I am not a human being from that world. You can consider me as a different case. All the things you see in your life, I am different from that. I have to say sorry, and that is why in my life Modi is sitting here or Modi has become a leader has no importance. India is made. I am just a medium. And that is why I am free from all these things. I have nothing to do with it.
Do you think like a sannyasi?
I use the word provoke sannyasi. I am a free man. I have nothing to do with it.
Prime Minister, all the people who are watching this interview on Aajtak and India Today, including my colleagues, will also agree that it was a very solid interview. All the difficult questions that could have been asked to you.
This is my complaint to you. This word difficult is not yours. An ecosystem is trying to rattle you. And you are scared like cowards. And you are asking questions for their agenda. I am telling you the truth. All of you are living under pressure. And I agree. When I meet them, I ask the reporters about their health. I don't have a serious conversation. I think there is something else in their hearts. Their experience is different. But the ecosystem has questioned you in such a way that you are not a neutral journalist until you ask such questions. I will get you out of this problem. I will do that.
When you were the Chief Minister of Gujarat, you used to give us the opportunity to interview you many times. Now, when you have become the Prime Minister, you do not hold press conferences and you rarely get the opportunity to do interviews. So people say that they ask that if Modi ji can answer all kinds of questions, then why doesn't he hold press conferences or interviews?
First of all, if you look in this election, you will see me on aajtak. I answered the maximum number of questions on aajtak. I have never refused. Secondly, most of the time the media has been used and this has become a culture now. They think don't do anything, control them and tell them what you want to say and the country will work. I don't want to go on that path. I want to work hard. I want to reach at poor people's doorstep. I can also cut ribbons at Vidyan Dhawan and take photos. I don't do that. I try to work for a scheme in Jharkhand's small village. I brought a new culture. If that culture is right, then the media should present it in the right way. Secondly, I am answerable to the Parliament. I will answer all questions in the Parliament. Thirdly, the media is not what it used to be. Because I used to talk to Aajtak. But now the audience knows that I am talking to Rahul. Who is Rahul? He tweeted this thing earlier, which means he writes in Modi's favor, which means he will say the same thing. Today, the media has not been a separate entity. You have also aired your views like many people and now they know it. Earlier, the media was faceless. It had no face. Who writes in the media? What are the ideas of the writer? It has nothing to do with it. People used to think that it was just an analysis. Today, this is not the case. Thirdly, there was only one source of communication earlier. Media was everything. Today, you have to talk to the public. There is two-way communication. The public can also speak without the media. Thirdly, when I was in Gujarat, I used to ask during public meetings. I used to look and ask, why have you made it like this? Why are there no black flags? Keep 2 or 3 black flags. Then only it will be published in the newspaper that Modi ji came here, 10 people showed him the black flag. At least it will be known that Modi ji came here. Without black flags, who will ask about the meeting? I gave such speeches for 10 years in Gujarat. One day, people from my village came to meet me. They came to thank me. They said, there has been electricity in our village for 24 hours. On Tuesdays, anybody was allowed to meet me. I asked, is there electricity for 24 hours? I said, you are lying. There can't be electricity for 24 hours. I didn't read in the newspapers that your village has 24-hour electricity. It was neither on the radio, nor on the TV, nor in the newspapers. They said the radio and the newspapers won't tell you this. Then I said, let's eat sweets then. That's how I lived.
Your sarcasm, your one-liners, I will remember.
Prime Minister, what do you want your legacy to be?
Look, someone had once asked me a question in the UK. I was surprised. The person who is living for the country, why will he think about himself? I don't work for people to remember me. If someone should remember anything, then think about 40% voter turnout in Kashmir after 40 years. Just remember that and celebrate the festival of democracy. Think about the G20, where people praised India. Think about the time when India will become the third largest economy. What does Modi have to do with it? Hundreds of people like me will come and go.
PM Narendra Modi says that he does not discriminate on the basis of religion, but he also won't allow reservation on the basis of religion. And whenever there will be politics of discrimination, he won't hesitate to say anything against the opposition. Thank you very much, PM Narendra Modi.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's it in this interview. For other news and updates, keep watching Aaj Tak.